In the glittering city of Lagos, where money ruled more than morals, there lived a man named Kelvin Ade, a billionaire at 35, known for his charm, arrogance, and the countless hearts he had broken. Women wanted him, men envied him, but Kelvin had grown bored of beauty. Until one night at a high-end fashion show he saw her. Her name was Zara. She was the centerpiece of the event, graceful, stunning, and mysterious. The crowd gasped when she walked, as though the room itself bowed in awe. Kelvin didn't fall for her smile. He fell for the way the world seemed to stop for her. That night, he called the show's director. "I want her," he said coldly, as if buying another luxury car. Zara was different though. She didn't chase him, didn't even return his calls. The rejection only fueled his ego. He pulled every string until she agreed to meet, not out of interest, but exhaustion. Over dinner, Kelvin spoke of power, of fame, of what he could offer. Zara listened quietly, her expression unreadable. When he said, "I could make you mine," she smiled faintly. "No one owns me," she said, and left. That night, for the first time, Kelvin didn't sleep. He couldn't stop thinking about her, not her body, but her defiance. Within months, he orchestrated a plan, sponsoring her modeling agency, becoming her investor, ensuring their paths would cross. Eventually, Zara agreed to marry him, not for love, but for security. Her mother's illness needed money, and Kelvin's offer could save her. He thought he'd won. The wedding was lavish, gold, cameras, and envy. The world called it the union of beauty and power, but behind the smiles, two strangers stood. Kelvin treated her like a prize, showering her with diamonds, expecting gratitude, but getting silence. Zara lived in his mansion like a ghost. She read books, painted alone, and spoke only when needed. Her quietness annoyed him. "Why don't you act like my wife?" he once shouted. She replied calmly, "Because I wasn't bought to act." Every day, Kelvin tried to control her, where she went, what she wore, who she met. Yet, her spirit never bent. Instead, it reflected his emptiness back at him. The mansion, once full of noise, turned into a mirror of his soul, silent, cold, and lonely. Then came the night that changed everything. Kelvin came home drunk from a business party and found Zara outside, tending to a stray dog with a broken leg. He mocked her, saying, "You care for trash now?" Zara looked up and said softly, "I care for what you can't see, pain." Something inside him cracked that night. The next morning, he saw her sketchbook. Between pages of her art were letters. Letters to her late father, letters about loneliness, fear, and love she never received. For the first time, he realized she wasn't an object. She was a soul deeper than anything he'd ever understood. He closed the book and whispered, "What have I done?" Kelvin began to change, quietly at first. He started listening to her silence, her laughter, her art. He joined her at the orphanage she secretly funded, where children ran to her arms as if she was their son. There, he saw something he'd never known, compassion. And in that moment, the billionaire who thought money could buy happiness felt smaller than ever before. He began helping her, not to impress, but to understand. He sold one of his yachts and donated the money under her name. Zara noticed but said nothing. Their dinners grew warmer, their mornings longer. And for the first time, they laughed together. He told her one night, "You were never mine." She smiled softly. "You never tried to be yours either." Months passed, and Kelvin's empire changed too. Less greed, more purpose. But just when love began to bloom, tragedy struck. Zara's mother passed away. She withdrew into silence again, And Kelvin, fearing to lose her, broke his own rule. He followed her to her childhood village. There, he saw her barefoot, helping villagers, smiling through grief. He realized something powerful. Love wasn't found in luxury, but in humility. That night, as rain poured, he fell to his knees and said, "I married you for your body, but I found your soul." Zara wept, and for the first time she held him, not as a husband, but as a man who had finally learned what love meant. They returned to the city not as billionaire and model, but as partners. Together, they started a foundation for women who had been objectified, giving them education and independence. The tabloids wrote, "Kelvin Aid, from playboy to philanthropist," but they never knew the truth. He wasn't saving the world. He was saving himself. Years later, their love became legendary. Zara's paintings hung in galleries, each one signed with a hidden symbol, a golden heart inside a cage. When asked what it meant, she said, "Is what he gave me freedom." And when people saw them walking hand in hand, aging gracefully, they saw proof that even the shallowest hearts can learn depth. Kelvin often told young men, "You can buy a body, but a soul? That takes surrender." In the end, when Zara passed away peacefully in her sleep, Kelvin built a garden in her name, filled with stray dogs, laughter, and art. He spent his last years there, smiling, whispering to the wind, "You were never my possession. You were my redemption." He had once married her for her body, but in the end, it was her soul that taught him how to live. And so, love proved once again that beauty fades, but a kind soul lives forever. Sometimes, the richest hearts are born from the poorest intentions. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to African Folktales Official for more powerful stories like this. See you in the next tale. Bye!